today's news poll, the last of the year, showing a commanding lead to Labor and the preferred PM rating even more strongly in Anthony Albanese's favour. But before anyone gets too cocky, this is what you'd expect 6 months on from any election. And ahead of the government next year, there are a whole lot of difficult challenges to navigate. The biggest, of course, being energy, with power bills soaring and the government's preferred policy options almost certain to make a bad situation worse. The proposal to cap gas and coal prices will crush new investment in the sector without much in the way of immediate consumer price relief, because much of the gas and coal currently being used is on long-term contracts at prices below the current world rate. And the alternative proposal to slap a super profits tax on energy producers and then use the proceeds to subsidise consumers also raises huge sovereign risk issues and is likely to make inflation worse, meaning up go our mortgage rates and things get worse, not better. As always, the only sustainable way to get prices down is to increase supply, to better match demand. But increasing the supply of fossil fuels is the last thing this Green Left government's prepared to do. It cheerfully promised voters in resource-heavy seats pre-election that, of course, Labor would ban new coal and gas developments, knowing, of course, that the courts and activist lawfare would pretty much do that for them. And in a further sign of the pig-headed green folly driving energy policy today, well, the Prime Minister was out there slapping down the new South Australian Labor Premier's quite sensible plea to allow small modular nuclear power into our energy mix. Here's Peta Malinauskas saying that it's illogical to have nuclear power at sea and not even consider it on land.
Look at the evidence. It can be done safely.
And then the PM's patronising put down.
I have a great deal of respect for Mally, but everyone's entitled to get one or two things wrong.
This is going to end very badly. Prices going inexorably up. Blackouts likely as more coal-fired power exits the system in next year or so. And of course, there's another consequence. The budget's heavily reliant on the tax revenues generated by coal and gas production in Australia. Indeed, there are reports today that the deficit could temporarily be eased by the surging tax take from coal and gas, even before we've had a super profits tax as mooted. Yet these are precisely the very industries that have no future under the government of the Green Left. How can a country pay its way in the world and afford all the new spending on the things we want, like the NDIS, if it's closing down the very industries that sustain our standard of living? This is the reality of what we're doing to ourselves here in this country, that overseas, in Europe in particular, they're desperately trying to unwind. Only we're too stupid, it would seem, to learn from their mistakes.